Hello, and welcome to the Senior Estate Concierge Show. Today, we have Liz McNeel talking about the future of senior care and senior services. More specifically, about moving and seniors moving from one location to the other. A little introduction. Hi, Liz. How are you?
Fine. Thank you, Bill. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Glad that you're here. So, a little introduction about the Senior Estate Concierge Group. We are a resource and solutions organization with a mission to bridge the gaps in the senior services industry and provide a highly professional, trusted, and caring team of senior service professional solution providers and resources for seniors and families going through the life changes and transitions. Many times it's difficult to find the best services that you need for your family. There's a lot of resources out there available, but it's sometimes hard to find who you can trust to take care of your loved ones while you're going through a transition. So our team's goal is really to meet every need with respect and in the integrity that you and your loved ones deserve. We have all different types of services available, anything from financial help to health, in-home aging care, to relocation to senior communities, to estate and legal planning, financial planning, reverse mortgages. So our goal is to meet every need that you need and be a resource and solutions organization. So with that said, today's topic is focusing on seniors that are moving. And we have today Liz McNeel with the Keller Williams Group. Liz stands for integrity, energy, hard work, and creative service in every detail in every real estate sale. She is a high-touch realtor known for her extensive market knowledge and her unmatched devotion to her clients. And I love this the best, Liz, how you say it. You won't be my only client, but I'll make you feel like you are. And I think that's extra special. That means a lot. Liz's success is based on understanding that every transaction, is an investment in her client's future, and she earns respect by working tirelessly on their behalf and by always offering candid advice. Liz is so much more than just a local realtor. And what makes Liz even more special is that she is a seniors real estate specialist and a certified senior housing professional. So it's with a great honor to have you here today, Liz. And I'm going to say I am a real estate broker as well. So we are on the same page, and I'm glad that you're here so that we can talk about this very important topic when the seniors and families are planning to move and transition to another location. It's very important. And as we know, it's a different type of transaction. So I'm going to stop talking and let you talk a little bit. I'm just going to ask you some questions. First, how about an introduction, Liz?
Well, sure. Thank you so much for all that you said. And what's really important, Bill, is like you said, you do the same thing that I do, but we can come together and meet and talk about things that we have to offer and how we can help older adults and their families making these decisions. And that's what's so important. And I think that's invaluable when you talk about the senior estate concierge, is that, we, like you said, we do the same thing, but yet we are both in this organization to promote and to assist all the challenges that all of the older adults and their families go through.
Right. And we know that a lot of us in the group have personal experiences to share, and that's why we are in the group, because we do care. We've been through the process, whether it's aging in place or moving mom and dad to assisted living, whatever the case. And so that's why it's so important that we are on the same page. So tell me, Liz, a little bit about what inspired you to start working with the senior, or start your senior division of your business.
Well, thanks for that question. I got into real estate 7 years ago and had just started. I transitioned out of I was a commercial insurance broker for over 30 years in Houston, and had a little small illness and decided to change careers. And knew that I always had a passion for real estate and got into it. And as I was starting that career, someone who is, actually she's the director, the aging ministry director for the Archdiocese of Galveston, Houston. So she runs that entire ministry. It's 11 counties. It's huge, serves about 1 million people. And she reached out to me and said that she knew a lot of people who assist older adults in all of the things that the challenges that they face every day, but she didn't know anybody in real estate who worked with older adults. So I was really intrigued by that and have a passion for older adults, always have. My mother worked in a skilled nursing facility when I was growing up, so I always had a passion for that and did some research and found through, like you said, the senior real estate specialist through the National Association of Realtors, but also I found the Seniors Real Estate Institute in Oklahoma City. And that was invaluable in helping me make the decision to create a division where I work with older adults because of the knowledge, the information, the guidance, all of the support that they provide to real estate agents who work with older adults around the entire country. So that was really a good starting place for me.
Yeah, they're both excellent organizations. As you know, I've got some firsthand experience with the Senior Real Estate Institute as well, and it is a great quality organization that really has great education for real estate agents that care about seniors and older adults. So, in your last 7 years, then tell us a little bit about how many older adults have you worked with? How many families have you helped?
Well, it's probably been about 50% of my business has been older adults, working with them and their families. Like I said, I get the call either from older adults saying, I need to make a move. I heard about you. Can you talk to me? Or it's their children, the adult children, reaching out. I need to help mom. I need to help dad. I need to help my aunt, whoever it is. And so that's been about half. And my business is really both divisions. It's about half and half. So 50% for clients of all ages, just in real estate. And I can apply the same passion that I have for helping people to that division, but then also about 50% working with the older adults and their families.
Right. That's great. Glad to hear that. So what are some of the challenges with working with older adults, or I'm sorry, what are some of the challenges that older adults face when making decisions about moving?
You know, the biggest challenge that I know that they all have, and again, it's either the client themselves or their children, their family members, is fear. They look around and you know this from working with the same clients, they're so afraid to make this change because it's frightening. It's leaving familiar circumstances, and do they want to do that? And what will it be like there? And when you take someone who's been in their home for 30, 40, 50 years, I have a client right now, she's been in her home for 43 years.
Wow.
And she's paralyzed by that fear of what is it going to be like, and what does she do with all of her stuff, the proverbial stuff that we all talk about, and how does she go through that process, and what does she do with her home and her car and just all of those things. She's just so frightened, and that's the biggest challenge that they start with is that fear. I'm afraid. I want to do this. The children say, no, mom's not safe. Or I'd like for mom to have more interaction. I'd like for dad to be able to play cards again. I'd like for them to do these things, but everyone is so afraid. And that's what I think you and we bring to the table, is being able to sit there with them and counsel them through that fear, and not just walk in. I know that neither you nor I walk in and say, okay, change the carpet, get some granite in the kitchen, paint the walls, call me, and I'll get it sold. And that's, a lot of people have that image of realtors, and you and I both know that that's not what we do. Right. So we basically start out with just talking to them.
Right. Understanding their situation, right? And understanding that it's that fear of unknown, of moving when they've been in some place for so long, and that transition to somewhere that they don't know. And it's a tough situation, and it's important that you take the time to understand and really care about their needs, right?
It truly is. And, an example is a client that I had last year who was not 80, she was in her late 70s, and there goes an earbud, sorry. She has a daughter in Atlanta and a son in New York City. And she's here, and they kept saying, we need you to come this way. We need you to be here with us. And the daughter said, in Atlanta, I want you to move here, Mom. And she just kept saying, what will I do when I get there? You work all day, your kids are in high school. Who will I know? My friends are here. my church is here. I always joke about the one client I had who said, I have to have my Walgreens, but my drugstore's here, my garden club, whatever it is. And so hearing that is from that perspective is so different from the daughter hearing it. It's us, you and I talking to them and hearing that, and then being able to say to the daughter, can we make mom comfortable and safe here? And you just come visit her twice a year, but you don't take away all those things from her. And that's what you and I bring to the table. It's being able to hear that, process it, help them process it, and then help them talk to their family members about what they want.
Right. That's a very, very important point. And maybe giving them some options on what are the different ways that you can do this, right? You move them there, or you can keep them here and come see them, and what are their options? Yeah. What's best for them, really?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Right. So do you have clients who would speak with prospective seniors who are looking for your services?
Yes. Thanks for that question too, because I always ask them afterwards, after I get them into wherever they're going to be, one of our people, either Lori or Troy, who help people find placement, they go help them find senior living options. And after they've moved them into someplace, then it's a matter of them saying, I wish I had done this sooner. Right. I'm so happy. Oh my gosh. A client called me yesterday that I helped her move back in November. She's almost 80 years old. And she called me yesterday to say that she had been asked to be an ambassador for the community that she's living in Pearland. And so to hear her say that, and then I called her son right after that. After she called me, I called her son and said, oh my gosh, I'm so happy she's now an ambassador. And he said, it took me a year of talking her through it, talking her to that point, and then getting her to where she said, yes, I'll do it. And that's when I came into the picture and we got it done. And now she's an ambassador. And so I always ask them, if I have someone who wants to talk to you about the process and how was it and what did I do to help you, would you speak with them? And almost all of my clients say yes. Sometimes they're shy and say, no, not really. But almost all of them say yes. Have them call me and I will talk to them about how great it is.
Yep. Well, going through that experience and having a good experience helps them be able to explain to others that it's not as scary as they think in the unknown, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell us, what's the first thing you do when worst thing you do when an older adult or their family calls and wants to talk to you about moving?
Well, it's kind of what we just talked about. The first thing I do is say, sure, I'll come and visit. And we're going to have a conversation. We're just going to sit down and talk. And then again, that's where you and I bring that listening skill in, where we can sit there and just hear what they're saying, hear the concerns, and just that's all we start out with. We don't go in there with facts and figures and all that unless they ask us ahead of time. Then we will. But no, we'll definitely do that if somebody says, this is what we want, we know it, please come and talk to us, bring us the information, we're ready to go. That's different. But if they just want to think about it, then that's how we start. It's just a conversation. Yep. So throughout the process, you and I both have a lot of conversations with our clients and we get to know them. And I have one client who gave me a review last month and he said, working with Liz was like working with family. And what a compliment. And so that's what I say is that by the time we're finished, it's going to be like we're family. I'm going to be your adopted daughter.
That is so true. I know I've got a lot of similar experiences that, we both are real estate professionals. So, once you get into somebody's life and you really are there to help and care about them, it becomes a real true quality relationship in most cases. Yeah,
exactly.
That's awesome. Yes. So kind of a similar question, but how do you communicate with an older adult clients versus a traditional, and I know we kind of talked about this, but a little bit more about, versus a traditional real estate transaction and one where you're helping a senior adult make a big decision, right? Life decision.
Right, exactly. And when you think about all of our clients that we have, because we work with clients of all ages, and if you've got clients who are first-time home buyers and they're 28 years old, you're communicating with them text, Instagram, Twitter, whatever they want to do, that's how you're communicating with them. It's very rarely going to be a phone call. It's mostly going to be some kind of electronic communication. But with older adults, which I do have some, I'm sure you do too, I do have some that communicate that well and they that way, and they do very well on it. I've got one that is 78 years old, and she and I text constantly. Constantly. She just bought a new home. She moved from out of state. She bought a new construction home, and I have email, text strings just long, like we just go back and forth. So she's great. But if it's someone who doesn't have that, they don't know how to do that, and they don't use email, we don't do anything electronically. So you and I both, we're going to meet them where they are. And we're going to provide communications however it's best for them. Is it a phone call? Is it a visit? Is it, when I have information to share, do they want me to come and see them? And a lot of them do.
Right.
because they're interested in some kind of interaction, and I'm happy to do it. Or is it phone calls? What is it? Whatever is the best for them, that's the way that I'm going to communicate with them.
Right. A lot of times they don't want to sign documents electronically, right? They want you to come over and hand them the documents and go through the document, whatever the contract is, whatever you're talking about, and go sometimes line by line and make sure that they hand sign it, right? So,
exactly. That's right. So we do it whatever is best. Like I say, that's meet them where they are. Wherever it is, that's what we do.
Right. Very good. Yep. That's so important. It really is. I know in some of my experiences, it's been the same thing. You just got to get a feel for where they are and how they want to communicate and meet their needs. So when you go to first visit with a senior adult that's thinking about moving, what do you tell them about considering a move? What are some of the, I wouldn't say positives and negatives, but what are some of the more important issues that you have to talk about?
The first thing that I tell them is that as their realtor, that my job is to make sure they understand all their options. So I talk to them about that. What are the options that we're looking at? Is it making the move to independent living, or is it making a move to another city to be near family, or is it staying at home? And a lot of people think, how in the world can you be a realtor and talk to people about not selling their home? And you experience that too.
Exactly.
But our job is to make sure they understand their options. Could they stay at home and be comfortable and be safe? That's the most important thing, is that they're safe and that there's a plan in place for their progression, whatever it may be.
Right.
So that's the thing that I tell them always. We're going to start with making sure you understand your options, what's available to you, and then how can I help you achieve those? Whatever one you choose, how do I help you get there?
Yep, exactly. And just to, I guess if I can elaborate a little bit on that, that's the reason why you and I are both in the Senior Estate Concierge, because that gives them options. It gives them solutions and resources. And hey, let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. We're not about selling services. We're about providing resources and solutions to whatever their situation is, and how can we help them, right? So that's very good. So let's talk a little bit about real estate in general, and how it affects the senior community, but also and with COVID, how do you see the real estate market changing for either aging in place or moving mom and dad into a community, or maybe even moving into children? What are the things that you see? What are some of the trends that you see?
I think we all know what happened with the real estate market last year. It was crazy. We started the year, fine. Everything was great and good projections. And then I think it was a year ago last week that they declared a pandemic in place. So for March and April, we didn't know what was going to happen and how were we going to, what was going to happen through the year. And then we saw what happened. There were families who all of a sudden were working remotely, and you had 2 adults and 2 children trying to all work out of the house. And you had that, and then you had older adults saying, I need to do something. Where can I go? What should I do? I'm here alone. I can't see anyone. I can't get groceries. How do I deal with that? So there was a lot of movement in the market. We saw it not just in Houston, but throughout the entire country. Cities, I would talk to agents in other cities, and they'd say, my gosh, it's crazy here. It's just unbelievable what's happening. And so we saw that continue on. And then, we go into this year, and now what that did for us last year and what's continuing this year is that there are a lot more buyers on the market. And now with the millennials coming into that buyer's bracket, many of them, the younger ones or the older ones from 31 to 39, they're all looking at purchasing property. So we've got more buyers coming in, and we don't have enough inventory. And I think now with the vaccine being rolled out, I think we're going to see a lot of the older adults who have pulled back and are holding about selling their home. They want to make a move, but they've been so nervous about how do they do that? How do they go through the process? How do they get to where they want to be? I have a client who's going to move to Portland to be with her son, but since last June, she's been just completely staying at home, sitting there thinking, as soon as I get the vaccine, I can sell my home and move to Portland. So that's going to bring, I think, a lot more inventory onto the market, is that people are going to be more comfortable, I think, with the vaccine. But the predictions for the year, these existing home sales should be up by 9% this year.
Yeah.
That's across the board. New home construction is probably going to be up 21% this year. Those are sales. And home prices prediction for the rest of the year, home prices should be up anywhere from 8 to 10%. And that's over last year. And so, and last year they were up. So mortgage rates should probably hold steady at about 3%, we think. That should be it for the rest of the year. So that's still pretty low. It's not what it was. You're not getting 2 3/8, but it's still pretty low. So, we're going to see that, I think, throughout the rest of the year. And that's going to, what I believe is that it's going to give seniors more comfort in looking at these choices and making their decisions.
Right. I was looking at the statistics the other day for Harris County and the Houston area market, and there was 50% less, almost 50% less homes on the market this year than it was last year, right before the COVID hit. So, all those are great points, and I guess the other, I've had a couple of clients also come in saying we want to downsize, right? Senior clients that are now they're in the big home. So it's kind of interesting to see what the change is going to happen. But the other thing is that about seniors moving in with adult children. Are they going to want to move into has COVID adjusted their thinking about moving into senior communities, or are they going to be okay and feel safe going into senior communities in the future, or do they want to do like next generation homes, right? Have you dealt with next gen homes yet?
Yeah, I've had one family buy one, the next gen home, and to explain that to everyone, it's a home that's built by a builder specifically with 2 homes in place. It's got a home for the family, a mom and dad and kids, and then connected to it is another home. It's almost like an apartment home,
Mm-hmm.
and that's whoever is going to live there, mom and dad, and their kids are going to live in one, and then whoever's going to live in the apartment will be there and have access to all of the things that are in the other home, but yet they only have their own space. And so I've only had one client do that. I don't know what's going to happen with next gen homes. I don't know. I don't see it being the big seller that the home builders that are doing it. It's Lennar that has one, and the big home builders. I don't see that it's going to have the same. I'm just not sure. Let me just say that. What's your opinion of those, Bill?
Yeah, I'm not really sure yet either. I think it's going to take a year or two to kind of at least another year to see where COVID lands and how much it's under control before they will decide if the builders will decide to keep on going that next gen way or not. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Sorry, that static was getting to me. So there we go. Anyway, I agree with that we just don't know where that's going to go. I do agree with you also that it's going to be a year to see what happens with the senior living communities. We're really not comfortable with their statistics from last year, where how many move-ins they had and people coming into those communities. And so I think we're going to see a lot of things up in the air for that right now. Most of the communities that I know of and you know of, whether it's personal care homes or the independent living or assisted living or the skilled or the memory care, they've all have been vaccinated. So all of their employees have been vaccinated and all of their residents have been vaccinated. So that makes, I think, people a little bit more comfortable about touring them, going to visit, making a decision about moving there with the vaccine. So I think that's going to help quite a bit. And your thoughts on that?
Sorry, I've lost my audio. So can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me? No.
Hold on
yes,
just
I've got
a
you.
second. Let me see.
Sure.
Can you hear me now, Liz?
Yes. certainly.
Yep. I'm still not getting you. So I'm just going to keep on that as answering, or I'm going to ask one more question and we're going to be done. I'm not sure what happened to my audio, but so I just want to know a little bit about, can you tell us about why you decided to join the Senior Estate Concierge and how has it helped you and your clients?
Well, great. I love that last question. That's the best one to end. And I had planned to read it, and you already read it in the beginning, but the mission of the Senior Estate Concierge is to bridge the gaps in the senior service industry and provide highly compassionate, trusted, caring team. As I mentioned to you, I have a passion for this. And so, which is why I created that second division of my business, because I have a passion for helping these people, older people, making these decisions. And the Senior Estate Concierge brings together people that you have vetted. Bill, you vetted these people, everyone who's a member, to confirm that these are people that have the same care and passion, concern, and knowledge, expertise, all of those things you have brought together into this one group of people. So if I have a passion, and that's what I do, it seems perfect fit for me to join this group, be a part of it, and have the resources available, whether it's people who can retrofit homes to make them more manageable if someone does want to age in place, or if they do want to move, and be able to turn to, like I said, a senior placement service, if it's Lori, Ferris, or Troy, people who can make those decisions. If it's people who need to work on their Medicare, or just all the different options that we bring together. If it's people looking for a community, to be able to refer them to Keeley, to go out and check and see, is that a community that they want to live in? So it's, where else would I be if I'm going to work in the senior industry? It seems like the Senior Estate Concierge is where I'll be.
Well,
okay.
Liz, thank you very much. Sorry, I have not been able to hear all you, but I know that you're awesome to be in the group. I appreciate you being in the group. You know, we are here to help. You and I are here to help everybody, and the whole organization, the Senior Estate Concierge, is to help people. And again, today was about moving, how we can assist. But in the future, we're going to have some more programs and more members speaking. And so, thank you again for joining us today. And Liz, we will see you soon, and everybody else, take care, and thank you so much.
Thanks, Bill, and the group. And thanks, Marion.